My brother picked up my daughter's handmade birthday gift, called it cheap trash, and threw it straight into her face at his own birthday party. My parents, they laughed. That was the moment I realized I wasn't their family. I was their wallet. But when I finally cut them off, they learned exactly what happens when you bite the hand that feeds you. My name is Nadia Crane. I'm 38, a single mom, and a remote software engineer. For 8 years, I'd been the family lifeline. I paid my parents' rent every month, covered their bills, even loaned my brother $70,000 to start a pottery shop. Every time I thought we were finally stable, someone needed just a little help. And I gave it, every single time, because that's what you do for family, right? Until the day my brother, Gage, decided to humiliate my daughter. That Saturday was his 33rd birthday. My daughter Kendall had spent 4 months carving him a small wooden box, hand-edged cacti on the sides, his name across the lid. She'd saved allowance money for tiny brass hinges. It wasn't much, but it was love in the shape of wood and glue. We drove across town to my parents' house. Music, cheap beer, laughter, the kind of party where no one remembers to clean up afterward. Kendall walked up, holding her gift with both hands. "Happy birthday, Uncle Gage." He looked at her, looked at the box, and sneered. "What is this, junk?" Then, before anyone could react, he hurled it straight into her face. The sound of wood cracking against her cheek froze the yard. My parents barely looked up. My dad chuckled. Kids these days. Kendall stumbled back, bleeding, clutching her face. And my family laughed. That was the moment something broke in me. You see, this wasn't random cruelty. It was entitlement that had been building for years. 6 years earlier, Gage had shown up at my house with a plan, a pottery business. He had spreadsheets, projections, even a glossy color folder. He promised I'd have my money back in 18 months, 30% profit margin. He needed $70,000, but he had collateral, his BMW. So I co-signed the loan. I believed in him. The first few months looked great. Payments on time, Instagram photos of hand-thrown mugs and tourists shopping his shelves. Then came the excuses. Supply chain delays, rent issues, slow months. Soon the payments stopped. And yet, every first of the month, my parents' rent still auto-drafted from my account. $1,300 gone without fail. I told myself it was temporary. That's what family does. Until my coworker, Casey, another single mom, saw my screen during a meeting and said, "You're bankrolling your whole family. You're not their daughter. You're their bank." I laughed it off then, but she was right. So, there we were, my daughter bleeding, her handmade box splintered on the concrete, and everyone laughed. Something inside me went cold. I didn't scream, didn't cry, didn't say a word. I just took out my phone, snapped a photo of his BMW, and another of my bank app showing the rent payment due in 3 days. Then I typed a single message in the family group chat. "You're on your own. Everything stops." Phones buzzed around the party. Heads turned. Gage's laughter died in his throat. "You're joking." I looked at him, calm, steady, and said nothing. Kendall and I walked out. The gate clanged shut behind us. That sound? That was 8 years of manipulation ending in one clean break. That night, I disabled the auto pay for my parents' rent. The next morning, my lawyer, Lane, sent a default notice for Gage's unpaid loan. 30 days to cure the balance, or the BMW would be repossessed. At 9:45 a.m., my phone buzzed with a live feed. The repo team had arrived. The video showed Gage pacing outside his empty pottery shop, yelling into his phone. Then the truck pulled up. Chains clinked, wheels locked. The BMW lifted off the ground like a toy. Tourists filmed it. Gage screamed, "You can't do this!" But yes, I could. Within 24 hours, the car was gone. Auctioned for $35,000, balance reduced, but the rest, now legally his personal debt. Lane filed a wage garnishment. The pottery shop folded 2 weeks later. Power cut, locks changed. And for the first time in nearly a decade, my bank balance stayed whole. You'd think that would be the end, right? It wasn't. Gage started calling. First angry, then pleading, then drunk. I ignored every call. Until one night around 1 a.m., pounding shook at the front door. The Ring camera lit up. Gage stood there, bottle in hand, shirt stained. "You ruined my life." Kendall hid in her closet, trembling. I called 911, whispering details while watching him kick the doorframe. Police arrived fast. He resisted, shouting until the cuffs clicked. That night, I filed a restraining order. 200 yards, no contact. But he tried again. Burners, voicemails, parking across the street. Each time, another fine, another warning. Eventually, he disappeared. Kendall started sleeping with her lamp off again. Her therapist said she was healing. Peace, real peace, finally felt possible. Until my parents showed up. At my office. My dad with his cane, my mom holding a cardboard sign that said, "Ungrateful daughter." They shouted my name while my coworkers walked by, cameras recorded everything. Security escorted them off property. HR issued a cease and desist order. I didn't say a word. When their rent came due again, no auto pay saved them. Eviction notice. 3 days, then out. They left voicemails about betraying blood. I forwarded them to HR. For record. By the end of the month, they were living out of a Motel 6. And still, my brother called. Still, my mother posted on Facebook about her heartless daughter. But I'd already learned, guilt is the oldest leash in the world. And mine had finally snapped. Almost a year later, a letter arrived. No return address. My brother's handwriting shaky and smeared. "Sis, I was wrong. Dad's diabetes got worse. Mom's working part-time. Please, just one last chance." I read it once, standing at the kitchen counter while morning light hit the blinds. Kendall, now 16, looked up from her Cheerio and said quietly, "From Uncle Gage?" I nodded. She thought for a moment, then said, "He made his choice." I folded the letter, dropped it into the trash, and covered it with coffee grounds. That afternoon, I sent a postcard. Plain white, no picture, no name, just 6 words. "We are no longer your family." Then I mailed it, and that was that. We moved soon after, to a quiet neighborhood north of the city. No chaos, no guilt, no constant phone calls. Kendall built again. This time, a cedar jewelry box for her best friend. It won second place at the county fair. She smiled when she got the ribbon. No brass hinges this time, no cacti, just clean, perfect joints. No cracks. I got promoted to senior engineer, my stock options vested. And at night, the house stayed silent. No auto drafts, no knocks. Just peace. The kind that feels like exhaling after years of holding your breath. People always say family is everything. But here's the truth. Family isn't about blood. It's about boundaries. Because when you stop letting people use you, you don't lose family. You lose parasites. And that's not tragedy. So, what do you think? Was I wrong to cut them all off? Or was it long overdue? Drop your thoughts below, and if you've ever had to protect your peace from toxic family, hit that like button. Because sometimes revenge isn't loud. It's quiet and final.